Whoa, another video on YouTube criticizing Netflix. How original. Well, given the studio's output over the last several years, I'd say that makes this thematically fitting. Plus, considering my previous videos and the fact that dunking on Netflix is now a national pastime rivaling baseball in popularity, I don't see how I could resist making this video. Here's the long and short of it. Netflix is terrible. They were the pioneers of modern streaming as we know it. Streaming is undoubtedly one of the most important innovations in the history of entertainment, but as they stand right now, right this second, Netflix is terrible. I could take the typical internet grifter approach and just milk this classic meme to death.
You added a rainbow.
Is that okay?
But not only would that be every bit as lazy as Netflix has become in recent years, it would be downright dishonest. Gay characters are not the issue, it's the way lazy writers often use them as either creative crutches or clickbait. Why put any effort into writing likable characters when you can just give them diplomatic immunity from being disliked? Especially on Twitter, where word of mouth gets around the fastest and where people are by far the easiest to manipulate. Of course, there are also the sorts of people who will turn on a show or movie simply for the presence of gay characters at all. And I'm not complaining about this, everyone deserves to feel represented on screen, but Netflix's cynicism and thinly veiled pandering makes Disney seem genuine in comparison. If you keep settling for less, it'll never get better. The same can be said about the content pool in general, keyword here being content. The most important thing to understand about Netflix as a company is that they do not give a single rat's taint about art or its value outside of monetary. They're like David Zaslav on steroids, minus the penchant for burning every bridge in sight for 30 pieces of silver. Can't sabotage your own reputation if you don't have a respectable one to begin with. Netflix understood this from the very beginning and they ran with it. They like to insist that quantity is the same thing as quality, and somehow their subscribers actually believed it for a time. Growing at all costs has long been the name of the game for Netflix, continually operating at a loss while throwing cash into the fire by the shovelful in hopes of fueling subscriber growth. This has led to the mess we see today. The company regularly overpaying for content rights, producing mountains of original content that rarely justifies the cost, and constantly hiking subscription prices just to close the gap. Turns out it's pretty difficult to profit off something that's destined to get buried almost as soon as it's released. They do it to fill content slots and cast the widest net possible, but all it does is make it nearly impossible for Netflix to create any of the long-running and highly lucrative IPs that regular Hollywood studios have. It's honestly a miracle they have what precious little they do, and even then it's not like they do anything with it anyway. When your most popular show airs a new season about as often as Halley's Comet comes around, I think some criticism is deserved. Perhaps it would be easier for Netflix to build a lasting IP if their algorithm weren't streaming's most notorious serial killer. Seriously, the executives at Netflix are so trigger-happy it makes the tax write-off buffoonery over at Warner Brothers seem like a rare occurrence. Even worse, they almost make it seem sensible. I don't know, you'd think if robots had an even halfway decent understanding of what actual humans will enjoy, then executives would be taking full advantage of that before incinerating their investments on more digital landfill fodder. So much potential willfully and prematurely tossed to the wayside that it makes Planned Parenthood scoff and envy. Maybe there are no executives. Maybe the algorithm really is the one calling the shots, just an AI-driven husk coldly and soullessly devoted to its singular task of exponential growth like a corporate HAL 9000. What makes Netflix jacking their prices up even more frustrating is they're cracking down on password sharing, something they proudly and publicly supported until very recently. We need to make back our losses on that god-awful blockbuster show and prepare to allocate sizable funds to Zack Snyder of all people. No more password sharing for you. Not to mention their implementation of ad breaks and lower tier subscription plans, thus defeating the entire point of streaming in the first place. Remember when Netflix was supposed to kill cable? Well, instead they ended up doing to cable what Gus Fring did to Hector Salamanca in Better Call Saul, but with none of the narrative satisfaction. Netflix has also locked casting from other devices to higher subscription tiers, as well as 4K streaming, and spatial audio, and even certain content, because nothing encourages continual growth quite like alienating the people who can't afford the premium plan. The fact that these very basic features are being walled behind a luxury price tag is nothing short of a scam, and Netflix has normalized it to such an insane degree that they might as well just drop all pretenses and start robbing their subscribers at gunpoint every month. Keep lying through your teeth about how Netflix is a consumer-focused company all you want, Ted, but it's not that difficult to see right through you. You don't want movie theaters shut down because it's an outdated model. You want them shut down so people have no other choice than to come crawling to you for their entertainment fix. No matter how much you insist otherwise, nobody likes being ripped off, and that's exactly what Netflix is doing to its customers. And here's the rub. Even if the executives at Netflix were to find God or grow a conscience or whatever else, they can't turn back now. Whatever trace amounts of goodwill they had with their customers is long gone, and they've invested far too much money into their current algorithmic business model to justify turning tail now. They suffered the same vice that's got much of Hollywood in the same precarious situation right now. They got greedy. They put all their eggs into one basket and then blasted it point blank with a shotgun before setting it on fire. Netflix may still sit the throne atop the age of streaming, which they themselves ushered in, but no reign lasts forever. Just look at Warner Brothers and Disney at the box office. They dominated the 2000s and 2010s, but thanks to their own financial gluttony and arrogance, their iron grip isn't nearly as tight now as it once was. The mistakes they made were completely within their own control to prevent, and they gleefully walked themselves off the edge of the proverbial cliff anyway. Good lord, what I've gone over in this video is just a few drops in the bucket of Netflix's completely preventable mistakes. I didn't even mention their mistreatment of animation and visual effects workers, or their lack of transparency with viewership data, or their propensity for tax dodging, or the time their PR chief got fired for repeatedly using a racial slur to his employees, and then doing it again to HR when they called him in. God, what a moron! Yeah, safe to say the issues aren't just with the on-screen product. They span the entire company, from the director's chair to the board of directors. A company in need of a cure, but refusing to acknowledge they're sick in the first place. All this and so much more points to the same conclusion in the end. Netflix is terrible. No signs of change are visible anywhere on the horizon.
Netflix is announcing a definitive agreement to buy Warner Brothers in a multi-billion-dollar deal.
Oh, excuse me, I meant positive change. Turns out this video was part 3 of the Warner Brothers saga all along, just as Netflix gears up for war with Paramount for the right to violate antitrust laws everywhere. Crap.